I guess I better do that. Let's see. Actually, I don't want to do it there. If you haven't tried Horde yet, you definitely should. There's a video on my channel, shows you how to do it, set it up, and it takes a little doing. I admit it's, it's not going to be super easy, but it's well worth it considering you can run up to 8 characters in one game all at the same time. So it's pretty sweet. If you haven't checked it out, you definitely should. Um, I mean, it says I'm practically like over, uh, like I'm like really high decibel wise on my mic, so should be good. Is it any better now? I did move it slightly closer. Hopefully that helps. At least according to OBS. Like it's peaking out in the yellow to red range a lot of times, so hopefully you can hear me. But if you didn't hear me from before, I was just saying you should try it out. There's a video on my channel where you can check it out. Takes some doing, takes lots of keys, obviously. And yeah, it's not the easiest thing to set up, but it is a lot of fun to use.
Greetings.
That's true. If you're not playing on the internet, then you don't need that. But then you have to run TCP or uh, something similar to that, like a private network of some kind. It's a little bit more setup than BattleNet is. It's actually easier to run it on BattleNet than it is to run it locally for whatever reason. Just the way Cobot is set up, the TCP stuff doesn't really cooperate and work very good. It does, but I don't know. When I used it last, I had a lot of problems with it. I had to like finagle a few settings, and um, I had to manually enter the IP address so they would enter. And if I didn't do that every single time, it wouldn't work. So a little extra effort, not like that big a deal really, but it's not completely automated like the Battle.net one is, where it literally just goes. You just start all the profiles, sit back and watch, and literally you don't have to do anything after that. So, not that it's not worth doing. I've obviously done it locally just to check it out. And the nice thing is obviously no lag or desync or any issues with your internet too. So, yeah, ups and downs.
This place is trouble. This cave has been purged of evil.
Oh, why they all throw their town portals out right at the beginning? Well, I think you just keep that, but I guess not. There we go. Looks like it got solved.
You have cleansed the...
I hadn't really seen him bunch up like that too much before. Hopefully that's not a continuing problem, but I think it's just because they were in the Den of Evil. Should be fine, I'm thinking.
There is dark magic at work here. My army will destroy you.
Blood Raven getting ganged up on. Gotta love it.
Welcome out. Good day. Good day.
Now we
Rest
have
well,
8 more
Blood
mercenaries.
Raven.
Well, 8 in total. It's not technically more, quote unquote,
What can
but
I do for you?
use the restroom real quick, guys. I'll be right back on cam afterwards. Just give me like 5 minutes. I'm gonna let this still run, obviously, but just give me a minute. All right, I'm back.
You have risked your day.
As a token of... Good to see you.
I'll put that to good use.
holds many secrets.
Good day.
Yes?
I'll put that to good use.
Tristram was no match for Diablo's fury.
Let's see what level we're at right now after a few minutes. Let's see, 1 hour in, we are at. I can't even see that. I think it's 11. It's really hard for me to see. Not bad. Considering we're leveling all of them at once, so.
This place holds many secrets.
Hey, how's it going, Francisco? Glad to see you back. Check out Horde. That's what we're running today. It's good stuff. Hey, that's good. Definitely should. I mean, Horde's fantastic. It's honestly the best way to start the season. I would actually really like Cobalt to work in wine as well. I could run it on a Raspberry Pi. Supposedly there's ways to do it, but it's a workaround, not really a, it's not reliable either from what I saw. But that was years ago. I don't know. I have no idea now. And I'm not proficient in Linux, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. But theoretically, it's possible. But yeah, running it off a Raspberry Pi would be sweet. I can get Diablo 2 to run on a Raspberry Pi, as you probably are already aware. But the Windows dependencies don't really help anything in terms of Cobalt. Oh yeah, man, that would be awesome. Man, that or have like multiple Raspberry Pis going at the same time, especially since they're, low power. Linux runs great, man. It runs really fast. It doesn't have a lot of junk on it like Windows does. I've been considering switching over for a long time. The only thing that keeps me on Windows is the fact that it's really hard to run certain games on Linux still. If that ever becomes less true, then I probably won't stay with Windows much longer. Just better.
I hope to find other such treasures.
It depends on the game. A lot of the older games I can't get them to work still. Although with like DOSBox and stuff like that, obviously that helps. I'll have to look into it a little bit more, to be honest with you. I think there's very few games that don't run on Linux at this point. And it gets smaller every day too, especially now that Steam is uh, fully committed to the Steam Deck. But it'll take me some time to get used to it, that's for sure. Yeah, if it didn't run with the Windows dependencies, I think Cobalt actually could run on Linux. And like I said, I know there was a workaround, but I didn't understand how to use it. I wish I did, because I would show you guys if I did. Even if it was complicated, I don't really care. It would be really handy and useful. Excuse me. And I don't think we're the only ones either. I think there's probably a large group of people that would love to see Cobalt working on Linux. Maybe not a large group, but a large group of people that are in the community already, I guess. Because Linux just runs a lot better, especially on lower end PCs. And that's useful for basically everybody. Not just for Raspberry Pis, but just like older PCs or people that don't, they maybe they live in a different country and PCs are really expensive. I get that a lot too. So
The monastery.
it would definitely be helpful for everyone. Nice. I'll check it out. I have heard of Linux Mint. Um, I can't remember. I think I used Ubuntu the last time that I used it. And then I messed around with the whatever the Raspberry Pi OS is. I think that's Linux based too. Pretty sure. And then way back in the day, I used Yellow Dog Linux for the PS3, but that was like forever ago. But it worked pretty good. I mean, even back then, Linux was still pretty competent. You just had to kind of know your way around or Google how to do certain commands and whatnot. Nice, Francisco. Level 18, and then obviously, doesn't take long to get higher, so. Horde's pretty quick. I mean, it's not perfect, but you do level fairly fast, so. I'd imagine, like, within 24 hours, you'd probably be, I don't know, at least a nightmare, maybe in hell difficulty, depending on how lucky you get gear-wise. That's always the dependency that you can't control is what the drops are, so. I may look into that a little bit later, see if there's any new information about Cobalt on Linux, but I don't think there is. It's unlikely. Kind of a bummer. But I would definitely try it out if it is, or if anybody has a source. And you can link me or send it to me on Discord or something. I will absolutely try it.
I hope the sisters appreciate this thing.
Oh, thanks so much.
Oh yeah, I've definitely installed Linux a few times. It's super easy. It's just like a bootable ISO file usually, and then when you're booting up your computer, you can boot to the USB drive. You don't even have to install Linux a lot of times. You can run it from like USB drives and stuff too. Like I said, I've done like a few things with it. It's just been a little while. It's really neat, to be honest. Plus, it's free, which is even better. So I do need to like make a little bit more effort to um, actually try and use it more.
If there was magic here, it's long gone now.
See if I can find the. There used to be like a guy that had said he got Cobalt to work. Of course, he didn't give any directions on how he did it naturally. But I'll see if I can find the Reddit post for it. It's pretty cool. He sort of explained it, but not really in a way that would be helpful. See, I don't know what ESLint is, but it's saying you can use that to um, perhaps get it to work on Linux. So I don't know exactly what that means. Like I said, I don't do Linux too much, so I'll have to look into it later. But interesting. Be really awesome if it was actually possible somehow.
Not enough mana.
Oh, that's all good, man. You gotta do what you gotta do. If you're busy, this stream's gonna be here for a while, so don't worry about it. No big deal. Get rid of this console stuff here. No reason to have that up. I'm not exactly sure what happened that time. Ouch. Yeah, it does happen that way sometimes. I had like a weird issue with Horde one time where they were in hell, but they ran out of gold and they were kind of just like standing there till they aired out. And then there was a different time where they were just like trading back and forth like nonstop, and they wouldn't stop trading. They literally never stopped, and they just basically it never started to work after that. So it does have some issues for sure.
Welcomes you.
Well, they had to pick something, you know, diamonds or whatever, I guess. When you're playing manually, it's not really that big a deal because, you know, you can obviously just do some cows and find plenty of flawless to convert to perfect. So, or if you need regular diamonds, you can do normal, whatever. Whatever it is you need, it's not really that hard. It's just, it's a little time consuming sometimes. Yeah, you should be able to. I mean, you can always play manually too. Get what you need and then fix it and then let them run again. Shouldn't make any difference. I've had to do that once or twice.
If there was magic here, it's long gone now.
As you can see, it is a full game. So I have 8 running right now on Horde. I don't run more than 8 per connection because you really shouldn't. Honestly, even 8 most of the time is really risky. You can easily get a realm down, so I don't run more than 8 per connection. I do have some proxies occasionally that I'll pay for, but I don't have anything like that going right now. I don't know what level they are. Let's take a look real quick. It's kind of hard to see without actually pausing. I would say 14 probably. And I started this up, let's see, an hour and 29 minutes ago, so not too bad. Yep. How long has it been running? Because really the key is not what level. I mean, obviously that matters, but how long it takes them to level is obviously very important. Whiteout problems? I'm not sure what you mean, like console issue, like it's showing the console? Because it does that a lot if anything goes wrong or if there's an error or whatever. Yeah, it's going to have lots of restarts, lots of crashes. Um, hmm. I don't know what a whiteout is actually. Oh, with that. Gotcha. Sometimes, like, the thing to do is to actually just turn it off, restart your computer, and turn it back on. No, no, it's all good. Like right here, it definitely crashed because they were all in the game and it said they weren't. So they all left the game, but technically they were all there, unless one of the windows may have crashed. I guess it's possible. I'm not like monitoring all the bot windows right now, so it isn't a perfect script by any means, but it's definitely worth using. I think. Yeah, sometimes you get lucky with the crashes, sometimes you don't. It really depends on like where people are like located and where they are in the game. They can have pathing issues, etc. Walking in Colbot is never really great. You run into a lot of issues with that because people will get behind or they'll get stuck on a wall or whatever. It's so much better when you actually get teleport. My experience has usually been once you get to the part where the sorceress actually teleports, you'll be all right. But it's pretty much a waiting game, so yeah. Sometimes you'll see chickens too, especially early on. That's going to be more prevalent because everybody's still squishy and weak. So you're lucky to have found the unique pair of gloves. To be honest with you, especially in normal, especially at low level, the chances you're going to find anything unique at all is almost zero. So you got lucky to find what you found. Especially low level, you just don't really find anything like that. I've actually had entire runs where I didn't find anything unique for like, I don't know, 10 or 15 hours. It happens. And it's random too. And obviously, if you find more magic find, that'll boost your chances significantly. But yeah, I mean, it's all luck, right? That's why we play this game. RNG. RNGesus. Nah, normally you don't find a ton of runes. You just don't. I mean, sometimes you do, especially in 8-player games. But again, it's still luck. Either you do or you don't. And then plus, if it's not doing Countess runs, that makes it even less so. Because Countess is guaranteed rune drops. But Countess has less rune drops when there's 8 players in the game, believe it or not. So technically having more people in the game in terms of using the Countess for drops is actually worse. But I mean, we've had seasons where somebody couldn't find a Shaco for like weeks on end. I couldn't find a Shaco for like, I think 3 or 4 weeks in D2R. And that was with me running the game every day for like 8 hours a day. Never saw a single one. So it happens. It's not, I wouldn't say it's common, but yeah, definitely happens. Well, that's kind of the whole point of Horde and solo play is to not mess with it. It's not meant to be customized. It's not meant to be changed or altered. I mean, you can obviously because it's open source technically, but you just run it and you don't mess with it. I mean, honestly, like the best thing to do if you're prone to messing with stuff is just run it when you're going to bed or something and then let it just go while you're sleeping or whatever so you don't have I don't know, like a temptation to mess around. Unless you really know what you're doing and you can code it up good. There are people who can do it, admittedly, like I have seen it. It's just that for like the average user, that's generally not true. Picky lists are like really people complain about picky lists, but the thing is like what you want and what I want are probably not the same thing. So they're never going to be perfect no matter who does them. Nobody's ever going to agree that like one is good and one is not. It's really difficult to make them. You basically got to make your own. It's a common complaint too, and like the only real solution is to just kind of make your own. And you got to keep in mind that like with Horde especially, you got to be really careful what you put in your picket list because what'll end up happening is if you don't have low end items on your picket list, Horde will never equip anything, and then you're really hosed. So you got to think about that, and then the uh, in-game, later game type of stuff too. So that's why I say it's just better to just leave it. Hey, Dusty, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, you probably don't want to be doing Hellforge with 8 characters, that's for sure, because you're just gonna get one quest for 8 characters. That's no bueno. You're literally losing out on 8 runes there, or 7 runes, excuse me. the way I see it is Coldbot is essentially what you make of it. You know, you can't rely on other people to make your scripts or to make your picket lists or to tell the characters what to do, really. You kind of just got to do it yourself. And if you don't want to do it yourself, then you're kind of just stuck with whatever somebody else has already done for you, basically. Yeah, which is fine, except for the fact that a lot of those you don't really find, necessarily. Set items are not super common in the beginning of a run, usually, at least for me. I do find a few, but usually it's, stuff you wouldn't even want, anything like Cathans and maybe an angelic sword or something like that, just stuff you're probably not going to keep unless you don't have any other choices. But yeah, it's not really meant to be the way you would do it anyway. It's just meant to be automated, do it for you, level them up, get them through hell, and then you can throw them into like a regular Coldbot mode later, essentially. Get your gear upgrade and stuff. Or you could just let Horde run. I mean, I've had pretty good luck with just letting it run, and then over a long period, eventually they'll find some pretty decent stuff. So, yeah, if you're playing offline, that works. If you're playing on the ladder, that's not going to work, obviously. But yeah, a lot of people do like to play single player, so kind of makes sense there, so that you can share it and use pluggy and all that good stuff. Totally could see that. I'm not a big component of single player. Like, I get why people play it. It's just not really for me. You find something cool, you can't do anything with it, you can't trade it, you know. And maybe people don't care about that, but I do. Yeah, it's going to take a really long time for solo play to get to 99, especially. You'd probably have better luck running public bail runs than you would letting solo play continue after a while, I would assume. Because solo play it's good, but it's, in my opinion, once you get to a certain point, it's not really worth running. I usually run it until they get to like Act 3, Act 4 hell, and if they can't beat that because of immunities, then I'll find a way to get them the rest of the way. And then I can do, Shank or Bale or Diablo, whatever they're capable of doing, basically. Yeah, I mean, Hero Editor is, I don't know. I don't use it. I guess to me, it's more fun to actually find the items. But to each their own, especially if you're playing on single player, who cares? Not like you can trade or sell those items or anything, so. You definitely can do that. Stop when full is an option, and you can make the picket list to where they only pick up one item. It's 100% doable. You could actually do that. Literally, you just make a picket list with just the one item on it, and then I'd have to take a look and see where you tell it to stop when your character is full, but it's an option in the settings or in the character config where you can do it for sure. I've seen it. Been a while since I've ever, like, I don't use it, so I'd have to go look around for it, but it's definitely there. And I mean, even if they didn't stop running, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? You could just let them run until you see it, and then, oh, okay, he's full. You know, just empty it out or whatever. Then good to go. Basically, like the way that I would suggest solo play and horde is to be used, in my opinion, is to get your characters up through hell. Hopefully, at least Act 3 or 4, and then at least you don't have to rush or you don't have to manually play to get there. You know what I mean? And then finding stuff isn't really going to be as hard because you can run like the easier areas that don't require good gear to be able to run. So yeah, I started just a little while ago, Dusty, like an hour and a half ago or so. I think, let me check. Level 15. So they were 14, now they're 15. Right? Doesn't take that long. Definitely goes quick.
Yes.
Zor, you can get Cobalt working with Pluggy, and I have a video on my channel on how to do exactly that. You can't run the most recent Pluggy from my testing, but you can get it to work.
This place chills me to the bone.
Yeah, it took me a little while to figure it out because I kept running into issues, but I did eventually make the video and it is up, so you can go watch it and get that baby running. Don't expect it to use the multiple stashes though, because I'm pretty sure it won't. But you could try. Yeah, last I checked, it was only using one stash. But it's been a while since I've looked and like messed around with it, so I could be wrong. Yeah, it's worth checking out, especially if you guys are running single player. I mean, I would definitely be running Pluggy if I was running single player, that's for sure. I mean, why not, right? Extra space is always good. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too, man. Like the way I see it is like, who cares, you know? If it puts it all in one stash, I'll just organize it later. I would have to do that anyway if I wasn't using Pluggy, so whatever. Fine by me. Yeah, I don't know why they never fixed that. They did fix it on D2R, but Diablo 2, I don't think they ever did, which is kind of ridiculous. It never made sense to me. So yeah, that's true. And like, why single player wasn't allowed to get ladder rune words will never make sense to me because it's single player. Who cares what rune words they get? It makes no difference. It's not like you can go trade them or give them to somebody other than your characters. So it just seems silly they wouldn't fix it. But I guess they just figured, what's the point? It doesn't make us any money. You know, typical Blizzard attitude. That's good to know. I did not know that. I don't really play single player that much, so makes sense. Thank you for sharing that. Either way, though, like you said, if you're going to be using Pluggy, you won't even need to because it doesn't, it's already set up for you to do that. So whichever way is easier doesn't make any difference if you're using it. So, but if you're not, you might as well do that. I left it at whatever the original setting was, which I believe is 210 seconds for min game time. Typically with Horde, unless they're erroring or leaving a lot, it doesn't really make that big of a difference. As I say that, of course it does that. But normally it's not that much of a problem. But yeah, whatever the default was, 210 I think. It would probably be prudent to put it a little bit longer just to be safe. But since I'm streaming and it's really boring to watch something just sit there and do nothing, I try not to do that. I do risk realm downs because of that, but you know, I got a stream to have, so it's a little bit too boring to just let it sit there. I mean, even right now it's sitting there, so imagine if I had to let it sit there for another, I don't know, 3 or 4 minutes or something. Yeah, 960 is probably a good idea, to be honest with you. Just to help prevent the realm downs for sure. For me, like I normally don't get realm downs with Horde, so I'm not super worried about it, but if you wanted to be safe, yes, increasing it would most definitely be a good idea. Like a rule of thumb to be like ultra safe with Colbot is like 10-minute games. So like around what, 600 seconds or so is like a really good place. I think when I was running uh just regular Colbot at 10-minute games, I never got realm downs, like literally never. So I would assume that's like the safest place for it. Anything beyond that's obviously good too, but I think 10-minute games probably be fine. And hopefully they don't chicken nearly as much when um when they start to get teleport, they start to get a little bit better gear. You know, that's the dream, that's the hope. That's true. That's a great point actually. Um Having a max game time is a good idea as well. Because you really don't want them to just sit in the same game for like 8 hours at some point while you're not paying attention, you're at work, whatever, sleeping, etc. And then you wake up and they got literally nothing done because some error or something was going on. Yeah, absolutely. Like walking in the jail and the inner cloister, even like the catacombs, I've seen it where they'll get stuck on like a wall or something and they just keep trying over and over and over again to get past it. I think I may have mentioned that earlier, but yeah, you're right. Absolutely correct. Even for regular Coldbot, it's a good idea to put max game time for the exact same reason. Failures, errors, getting stuck on something. I know you can like teleport outside of the map occasionally and get like errors and problems with that too. So Yeah, absolutely. Like those storm, whatever those like ghost type guys are. I forget their name. Storm chaser, something like that. Those guys like to go behind the walls. They like to hide out in the lava where you can't actually hit them. And Horde will try its best to hit them over and over and over again. It can get stuck there very easily. And the key is if you walked away, they would, they would chase you. But Horde won't do that. It'll just sit like right in the same spot, basically, hoping that it'll come back. And sometimes it never does. Which is good, actually. It's better for it to crash if it can't get past something rather than just sit there for hours on end wasting time. I would much prefer it to crash or to stop. Me too tonight, Dusty. I'm super tired. I'm not operating on all cylinders tonight. Very tired. Did not get a lot of sleep. Had a lot going on today, so don't worry about it. Everybody has it happen. Hopefully they can get past Andariel here. We can actually start chugging along pretty good. It's not bad. I mean, 54 is not, not really that bad considering. I'm gonna restart this, guys, because it keeps crashing. So give me just a few minutes here. I want to see if this helps. I'm gonna actually just close Colbot itself and just reopen it because I'm not really sure what's causing these crashes, but I'm gonna restart because it just keeps doing it over and over again. So you had him started in single player. Oh boy, that's super unfortunate. Man, that's a bummer. That'll happen though. Super easy for it to happen. Let's see here. Where did I put the Colbot folder? I only have 6 million of them, so that's always fun. Oh, here we go. Here. Don't let him fool you. He's still got like 8 characters or at least 7 characters in Horde still. He's just rocking and rolling with, so. Okay, let's try this again, shall we? Actually, let me resize this window a bit. Okay. There we go. I think that's good now, hopefully. Nice. Dusty already found like 7 enigmas. He just doesn't want to brag. He finds like 4 jaws an hour. No big deal. Couple burrs here and there.
This place chills me to the bone.
See, I told you. What did I tell you? He's just stashing enigmas now. He's got so many, he's just like, what am I going to do with all these? I don't even have enough characters for all these enigmas. See, everything's coming together now. Everything's making sense. Got to make more characters because you have too many enigmas. Therefore, make more characters. Although, you did make it on single player, so what's up with that, huh? Not just Bale and Diablo runs, it'll do a lot of other stuff too. They tend to do like multiple different areas and magic finding, all that good stuff. Because Bale and Diablo are great, but unless you're efficiently and very quickly clearing them, they're not really that helpful. So, Pit and stuff like that is sometimes really good. Oh, I don't mind. Sometimes, like when I'm not paying attention and the console pops up, it's kind of handy because it actually gets me to see it, especially tonight since I'm like brain dead. But I appreciate it. It is good. Good to know. Old and senile. I very much doubt it. Way too wow. Now who's senile? Way too coherent is what I was trying to say before I stroked out. It's also because, the people that made Horde understand that you kind of need to do other stuff so that you don't get realm downs and whatnot. You don't want to just do Diablo and Bale because your games will be super short. And that's not really that helpful, so okay. Not really sure what happened there. Oh, it crashed. Nice. Wah, wah. That didn't take long. Oops. Gotta do this again. It's as if you were playing Cobot, manually. Or not manually, but if you were running Cobot normally, I should say, and you just do Bale and Diablo, your games are going to be really short. Now, if you're on single player, you don't care about Realm Down, doesn't really matter. But most people who use the bot do use it online, and they do use it on BattleNet, and therefore it's kind of designed around that. If you were just running single player, you don't really need that. because who cares how many games you make? Who cares about how long each run takes? You know, shorter runs probably better, honestly, if you're playing single player. At that point, like it doesn't really make any difference. So, but yeah, kind of different outcomes and also different expectations for online versus single player. Give me just a minute here. I gotta grab something. Hopefully, it starts back up and doesn't crash again. Okay. 3 cow runs in and only 2 diamonds, way faster than I was, but less fast than I'd like. I hear that. I feel that way all the time when I'm looking for something. Like whenever I don't need it, I'll find like 7,000. And then when I do need it, I literally won't find a single one for like, it seems like an eternity. It's probably not, but your perception changes when you're waiting around hoping for it to actually happen, of course. I believe it does cows. It's been a while. I could swear I saw it do cows once. I usually don't watch it all that carefully, though. I'd have to look in the scripts to know for sure, but I feel like it does. I need like 5 perfect diamonds. Yeah. This shouldn't be too bad. If you were in Hell or Nightmare, it'd probably go a lot faster, unless you already are. I would assume that would probably go faster than normal. Because you can find flawless, and normal is just way less likely. You probably are. You're probably better suited to go find better gear than upgrading, yeah. Usually that's the case. But then again, I guess you'd have to weigh like which one's going to take longer, which one's going to be faster. So you don't know because finding better gear could be a pointless venture too. So who knows? Like I said, I spent like multiple weeks looking for a stupid Shaco one time, could not find one to save my life. Ah, okay. Yeah, that's not going to help at all. Definitely going to take longer. You do find quite a few flawless and nightmare cows. But, you know, if you're not in nightmare cows and you just have to manually going around looking for them, probably Act 4, Act 5 would be the only places you'd probably find them. You can find them in Act 1 and 2, more so in Act 3, but you'd be way better served to go to Act 4, at least, if you're even there. I'm pretty sure you can get flawless in normal cows too, but it's way less likely. Okay, so far so good. Knock on wood. Hopefully, we don't crash again. I did like 5 Quorast and Travancore clears, finding only about that many gems at all. Yeah, I hear ya. I've had to do some of this kind of stuff before, so I get it. It's kind of annoying, kind of frustrating. So, understandable. Come on, get her. Get her. Yes, sir. We got her, boys. We got her.
The
Oh, greeting. Where can I take you?
Yeah, they actually did drop a unique axe, which is, you know, basically worthless, but at least a unique dropped. Yeah, Act 4 is for sure. Act 4 and 5. And then, honestly, like, cows is primo. Basically the best place ever, honestly. I find more gems there than I do anywhere else. Okay. Interesting.
Hello.
Plus, if you do Act 4, you might drop like a Viper Magi from Diablo. Pretty sure he can drop one in Nightmare. So, that's always helpful too. Viper Magi, like, toward the beginning of Ladder Reset is very, very good. Those resistances are really hard to come by when you have, you know, garbage tier gear. So,
I know much about the. Hello.
Welcome, youngs.
oh, come on. That time I saw one of them crash. No, I take that back. 2 of them. This is probably one of the worst runs I've had. Normally, I don't have this much issue with Horde, so... Like, half tempted to just delete everything, start over. Just let him start over again. But there's no guarantee that'll help either. I'm just gonna speed this up a little bit. Let's see here. There we go. Okay. Oh, you know what? One of them got stuck in Act 1, I think. That might be the issue here. Let's see if this fixes it. He was trying to take the waypoint attack too, I believe, is what the problem was. See what happens here. May have to go through one more cycle. But at least he's here in Act 2 now, so that shouldn't, quote unquote, be a problem. Yeah, the best thing to do is to just kind of go through like each window and make sure that everything is copacetic. Like I just did, because sometimes they'll get stuck in like previous acts. I know Dusty and I have had issues with that like multiple times, so definitely something to watch out for. When you say it's crashing a lot, like what is it doing? Because I mean, with mine, it was just stuck in the last act. Yours might be stuck on a wall somewhere, or they completed a quest and one of them is missing the quest, and that would cause a continuous crash too. So best thing to do is to just kind of pause everything and then go and look and see if there's any of them that are got, you know, kind of messed up, because I've seen that multiple times. Just literally with mine. So I mean, it wasn't a quest, but getting stuck in Act 1 and everybody else is in Act 2 is going to cause a crash. Because Horde doesn't realize that it has to take Wariv to Act 2 before it can use the waypoint the first time. So yeah, I don't think this is going to recover, unfortunately. So let's make sure that yeah, okay. We'll come back over here. And I'll just have her leave. That should bring everybody else out too. Yes, they're leaving. Okay. And then hopefully now it will quote unquote be fixed. We'll see. Okay, he's in Act 2 now. Let's see if he starts moving. He is moving. Okay, good. So yeah, if yours is kind of having issues, Francisco, maybe take a look and see if like somebody missed a quest or something. And if they did miss a quest, unfortunately, it's kind of a pain, but you may need to like stop the bots, load the one that's having the issues up, create a new game, either manually or whatever, and just go and take care of that quest real fast. And then you can rejoin them all together afterwards. But yeah, happens. And it's almost always due to pathing. Almost everything is like having to walk around is really just not like the collision and everything with the walls and everything just causes a lot of issues. So, like we were saying earlier. Yeah, here we go. Everybody is moving.
Who goes there? I'll put that to good use.
Okay. Okay, or not. It's saying teammates are missing from the game, but I don't think they were, so I'm not sure why it thinks they're missing. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to give it one more shot, and if it's still messed up, I'll probably just call it for tonight. Try to fix it later. Pretty tired anyway, so if that's the case, it'll be a little shorter stream. Because I'm not going to keep messing with it. As far as I can tell, everybody's in here. I don't know why it keeps doing that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the character it's on. That should be 8, so. Well, the thing is, it's just saying the teammates are not in the game, but they are in the game. So my guess is it's somehow not recognizing that somebody is doing the same quest, perhaps. That would be my guess. There's a lot of things it could be, unfortunately. And I don't see any errors on any of these consoles. So I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, I don't really see anything. I don't know. So 2 of them didn't buy mercenaries last game before they exited. Now they did, and now they're all heading to the sewers. Looks good, maybe? Okay. So they're all in the sewers and they're killing stuff, so whatever it was, it might have worked itself out. I don't know, Dusty, have you ever tried turning chickening off for Horde and see what it does? Does it just leave anyway? Or does it try to recover the bodies? I'm gonna have to do that later. I'm just gonna turn chicken off for everybody because I don't really care if they die. I want to see what it does, if it tries to recover the body, or if the party members like send a TP or what exactly. Because if that's the case, I would just recommend turning chicken off so that you don't get all messed up and have like your games just randomly ending whenever somebody chickens. Okay, I'm gonna try it and see what happens later. Not right now during the stream, obviously, but like later on, I'm gonna give it a shot because now I'm kind of curious. Will it just stay in the dead screen? Okay, no, bummer. Never mind. Because if that happens, that's not good either. Because essentially, what'll end up happening is they're gonna miss out on quests. So, yeah. Yeah, it seems like even if it has like errors or issues, a lot of times it does sort itself out. Although I don't think it would have sorted itself out in my case with that character trying to go to the waypoint to get to Act 2, even though I'd never been to Act 2. I feel like that would have been a permanent problem, so glad I caught it when I did. But most of the time, I would say you're right. Like, depending on what it is, it does usually fix itself. I think what probably happened is that character hadn't yet made it to Warov to go to the second act, and then the game ended before it got to do that, and therefore got stuck in Act 1 when it thought it was in Act 2. That would be my guess. Just bad luck, basically. So yeah, Francisco, if you're still around, we have not found a single rune yet, according to the log. So it does happen. Especially in normal, you don't tend to find very many unless you're doing Countess. You probably find some in Act 4, like Chaos Sanctuary, most likely, and probably Act 5, Bale. But before that, it's just completely random. Hmm, that's interesting. I guess it just went there to cast Shout. Hey, thanks for stopping in. Really appreciate it. Uh, Vinny? 808, I really appreciate it. Thanks for all the good information, man. We'll see you. Okay, this feels like it's rocking and rolling pretty good now, so feeling a little bit better. Hopefully we can continue this way. It helps that Act 2 is like way more open too. There's a lot less like enclosed spaces, like other than, the maggot layer or maggot hole or whatever it is. Other than there. Because the Claw Viper Temple is actually not, like, super bad. Telraj's Tomb can be, sort of, so we'll see. Oh, starting to see some hammerage. I also see concentration, too. And I get some pretty nasty damage off of that. That's what I'm talking about.
Approach and let's trade. I'll put that to good use.
And then when Dusty donates 27, Enigmas will really be in good shape. That's true. I didn't even think about Arcane Sanctuary. I'm gonna act like I didn't see that, Dusty, because now you got me worried. To be fair, though, like, if this makes it all the way to Arcane and then crashes for some reason, I'll be okay with that. Because at least that's, like, significant progress. Yeah, oh yeah, it'll definitely get past it eventually, I think. Now that I got past those hiccups, whatever reason, it was just, like, being garbage. But yeah, it seems like it's good now, so. We shall see. Oops. Aren't we getting any sound here? There we go. That was weird. Window got deselected somehow. Those buzzards are so annoying when you're playing this game as a barbarian and you're playing manually, and they just keep flying away from you. So annoying. What level do you get battle order? 24? That sounds right. Ding. So let's see. One Smiter, Hammerden, Cold and Light, Sorceress, one Assassin, one Necro, one Druid, one Barb. Yeah, you got like the rainbow. You got everybody. I tend to like more damage, and Sorceress tends to be pretty weak. So I only run like one or two Sorceress, three or four Paladins, a Barbarian, a Druid, and then like one optional character. In this case, I chose Assassin. So I ran one Assassin, one Druid, one Barb, one, two, three Hammerdens, one Smiter, and the Sorceress for teleport, basically. I was just going to run four Hammerdens, and I was like, what's the point? You know, there's not really a reason to do that. You know, at least with Smite on Act 2 of the Bale Waves, you know, we can lay some smack down on those fools. Dang. I think mine is getting the cube. So it doesn't have the cube yet, but that's what it's trying to do. Grab everything. Be a little loot goblin. See, I feel like it might crash here because it looks like they're moving on and she's just kind of standing here waiting, but we'll see. Nope, there she goes, thankfully. I was kind of worried there for a second. So far, so good. We've been in game for like 21 minutes or so, and it hasn't done anything negative, so good so far. I am happy with it. Nice. Yeah, like Dusty said, sometimes it'll like get past whatever BS is going on. And like, I swear, it's always like a pathing issue slash quest issue of some kind, like 99% of the time. So, and if we weren't just sitting here watching it, we wouldn't even know that it had happened because it probably would have just fixed itself out most of the time. So,
I'll put that to good use.
sweet. Glad to hear it. It's pretty much what you want it to do, you know? You want it to start progressing. The further it gets and the closer you get to um, teleport, the more likely you're going to have success. So, interesting pathing, but okay. Hmm.
Hello.
Yeah, so whenever it crashes, it'll most likely like restart a lot of the sequences to try to make sure that it catches up. Also, it'll do that so you find more items. I've noticed it does that intentionally so you'll find more stuff because it figures like if you crash or if you chicken, then maybe you need better stuff. So, definitely. Plus, you also don't want your games to be really short. Again, because most people use BattleNet to play. So, if it does that, then you have a higher chance of having a realm down. So, it's not that they're getting stuck at the waypoint or the stash. That's usually when they're trading items. If you have your if you have your kept log turned on, you can actually see them doing it. It'll say like so and so kept this, so and so equipped this, and you'll notice that they're like swapping items um, between each other. You shouldn't have to move anything, just let it be. In fact, if you do move characters manually, or if you try to go through a waypoint while they're doing that, there's a substantial chance you'll be causing the crashes. So you just want to let it sit there. You want to let it do its thing. That's always the rule. Just let it do its thing. Don't interrupt it unless there's actually a problem that you know for sure is a problem. But when I have my log on, I can see that they're trading items and stuff. So they're not just sitting in town. They're not just sitting at the waypoint. They're trading. They're doing skills or whatever it is that they're doing. Ring mail. Ring mail is probably angelic halo if it's a set item, I believe. Angelix is really good for melee, but other than that, it's kind of worthless, honestly. And the two pieces you want for Angelic is the amulet and the ring, and that gives you like a boatload of attack rating. Which, if you're melee, is fantastic. If you're a caster, it's completely worthless.
Who would have thought that such primitive beings could cause so much trouble?
You did well in
Yep, that sounds right. I wasn't sure of the name for sure, but I knew it was Angelic.
I'll put that to good use. Good day. I'll put that to good use. I'll put that to good use. Approach and let's trade.
Hello.
Good day.
Making some progress. Going to,
This place
Arcane Sanctuary. Yeah, there's always a delay when somebody's streaming. Uh, I don't know exactly how long it is, but yeah, there's always a delay. Don't worry about it though. Like, I don't mind. When I see your messages, I'll make sure I respond to them. It'll just take a few seconds before you see my, my answer basically. You'll get used to it. Okay, we have teleport now, so that should make this a lot better. Hopefully.
You. The Viper am. Hello.
How may I help you?
Greetings.
Very nice, very nice. That's what we like to see. Dead Duriel equals Act 3. Good stuff. Hooray for teleport, let me tell you. Yeah, and the sad part is that even though I got through Act 2 faster than you, it still had a bunch of issues. So, doing good now, so I guess that's something. And now I have teleport, so, ideally that shouldn't happen as much.
Good day.
All right. We are also now going to Act 3. Yay.
Hello. I thank you.
Greetings, honored traveler. Good day.
Diablo and Vale have escaped me. Next time, vengeance.
Ahoy, mate.
Ahoy, mate. I concur.
Yes? Come back this way, have you?
Looks like they're doing some trading,
This
etc.
Welcome back.
Two runes? Which two runes did you get? It looks like they found one on my end too, but it was a Neff rune, so rest in peace. That rune is crap. I suppose you could make what, a smoke with it. But in general, not a great find. You want tall Thort, wow, tall Thol or Am, I don't even know if you can get a soul in normal mode. I don't think you can. So just the spirit runes would be for the good ones. Or maybe you can find a soul in normal, but you can't find a soul off of Countess in normal. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of. I was pretty sure about the Countess, but I wasn't 100% sure if you could find soul in normal, like, say, Act 4 or 5 or something. Okay, so that one actually says that was a pathing error right there. So there you go. That I don't mind because I understand. So I'll let that one slide. They made like 50 minutes in that game before that happened, so it's all good. That's what I think too, Dusty. I think you can get the soul rune. You just can't get it off the Countess, which is usually how I get runes, especially low to mid. Ith is not great. Eth is actually useful because you can do tall Eth for stealth, so not horrible. Yeah, that crash was a pathing error, it said. So, no big deal. Like I said, they made it 50 minutes this time before something happened. So, if it crashes once every 50 minutes, I'm pretty much okay with that. That's fine. I prefer it didn't, obviously, but, if it's got to be that way, then fine. Man, that sounds like a terrible way to die. Drowning in low runes. Imagine. And I don't mean low as in LO either. I mean, low as in LOW. Not a good way to go. No. Right? Yeah, I tend to pick up way too many low runes also. I never end up using them. Especially if I play, like, physically play or manually play. Yeah, probably a good idea to only keep like five, even five of each is like a lot. So, and I don't even keep five of each, honestly, because there's like so many runes that you just don't end up, at least I don't end up using. So, script horde doesn't exist. Hmm, interesting. Yeah, I would suggest like closing out entirely and restarting it. That'd probably be best. It just depends on what runes they are. You know, if they're runes that you use a lot, or if you're going to re-roll Spirit, or whatever you're going to re-roll, it's worth keeping. But otherwise, you know, kind of whatever. And to be honest, low runes are really super easy to get off the Countess most of the time anyway. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I don't know, I just don't like managing all of them. And a lot of times I'm too lazy to set up auto mule. That'd probably make it 1,000 times easier. Okay, what's going on here? Why is everybody just standing around? Let's take a look at the other characters. Yeah, so here it says waiting on party members, so something happened again. Yep, so he is in town again. It depends, Dusty. Sometimes I can get her to drop him pretty quick, other times not so much, so. Yeah, Francisco is going to keep doing it. I mean, you can see mine's doing it too, so. Like I said, the best thing to do is just leave it alone and ignore it. Only reason I care is because I'm streaming. I'm trying to make it entertaining. Otherwise, just let it go. Unless it's something that is literally preventing it from progressing. Other than that, nothing to worry about. Probably gonna have to stop mine and restart it also. Seems like one of them is getting stuck. I don't even know what they're doing in Act 2 um, besides getting battle orders or whatever. Okay. It goes back to level, dude. That's what it does. Like I told you before, like that's just what it does. If it crashes, chickens, leaves, restarts, you turn it off, back on, it'll pretty much do that every time. As you can see, mine's doing it as well, so completely normal.
Hello. Good day.
I can't.
Tier, tall is good. Those are fantastic. What you really want is 3-socketed shields so you can get an Ancient's Pledge. That's where it's at, resistance-wise. That helps a ton getting through all the difficulties, that's for sure. Now you can buy 3-socketed shields in normal. I'm pretty sure Act 2 has them. Cows probably had drops them too. Bale, Diablo. Well, Bale and Diablo won't drop socketed, non-magical items, but the minions around them will. Well, I can see this isn't going well. I'm probably just going to end it here. Pretty tired anyway. So thanks for watching, guys, as always. Hope to see you again soon. And take care of yourselves.